Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Pod What Happens Live, a podcast for all things Bravo TV. I am your host, Katie. I'm here with my wonderful co-host, Carrie. We're brought to you by Silent Podcasts, or anything but silent. And here we are. Carrie, how are you? We're back.
We are back. A mini hiatus in comparison to our hiatus. It's summertime. Like, sometimes you just gotta live life.
Exactly. Things happen,
Yeah, we were living life. You did not want me podcasting from family vacation, so.
I mean, it would have been entertaining, I think.
Whew. Maybe.
To be quite honest, but I understand why.
Maybe. So, no, we're back, better than ever, and have some Bravo to talk about.
Yeah, I think we were just talking before we went live, and up front, I've given up on Crappy Lake. I let you know. I started off real high. I crashed down into a ditch, just like Luann, crashed into that bush. I gave up on it. It's not intentional. It's just like every time it comes on, I'm like, this is not for right now. And then I never went back to it.
I thought of this actually, like, while we were going live. There was one thing I wanted to bring up from Crappy Lake that I thought was hilarious. Okay. However, not because they were funny, it just tied to us. And I don't know if you've even seen the episode then, but they like basically hit up a Dairy Queen drive-thru, and Luann got the ice cream that I said my hair looked like that time. And so
I think I did see this.
Yeah, like the hard dip. And I was like, for a Crappy Lake to have what I referred to my dumbass looking hair. I did think that was probably the funniest part of the whole series for me.
It peaked.
I don't know if I ever hit a peak, to be honest. Like that, if that's the peak.
No, you haven't peaked yet, but the show peaked.
Yeah, there's only so much of like this being entertaining.
I'm just surprised it's still on. I figured this would be like a 4-episode, 5-episode thing, and then it would be over, but it's still going.
Yeah, I figured like, 8 episodes? That's like what Girls Trip is.
Right. Is it even? Yeah, I guess it is 8, right?
Yeah. Somewhere around
Something
there.
like that. Interesting. But, speaking of Girls Trip, I didn't have this on my list, but did you hear the news that they are going to air the Roni Legacy season of Girls Trip before the Morocco season of Girls Trip, even though Morocco filmed first?
Oh, they're pulling an Amazing Race?
They're pulling an Amazing Race. And what's interesting is that the Morocco season is where the alleged sexual assault of Caroline Manzo took place. So we're going to wait even longer to have to be the judge and the jury on this. Not that I want to litigate sexual assaults.
Yeah.
We're already going to have to talk about it when we get to Below Deck. But
right.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I wonder if they're just going to bury it.
I mean, I don't think that's the worst idea, because just like, why open yourself to that by airing it publicly? I guess like you can just say, hey, this isn't something we feel comfortable showing. Right. So
yeah, mark it up as a loss. Make it a Batwoman. What is the movie that HBO Max or WB or whatever shelved after filming the entire thing?
You are asking the wrong person. I never get movie questions right on the Daily Dozen. I don't know if you're aware of the Daily Dozen, but essentially like Barstool Sports has like a trivia league that they play within themselves. It's like 3-person teams, but maybe like 3-ish weeks ago, they put out a daily trivia for like your everyday person. And so it's 9 questions, and like the top 3 are always sports. And then it's always the middle 3 or the bottom 6 really are like a mix of things. The middle one is always celebrity mashup though. And I am so bad at celebrity mashup. I think I've gotten like 3 of, today was like day 18, 19, something like that. I'm bad. I'm so bad. I don't understand.
Is it photos or is it like their names?
No, scrambled? It's photos. So they'll take like,
I think I'd be bad at that too.
The outside, like the hair and like shoulders of someone, and then they put someone else's face on it.
That's a classic Big Brother competition.
Oh, I wouldn't know.
For Veto or something, or I think Veto.
But movies is always a topic, and I think I've gotten like 2 right. I just don't watch movies, so much less movies that haven't even come out.
well, no one's seen this one because they filmed the whole thing and then they just were like, actually, we're just never going to release it and write it off as a tax loss. So, business, yay. Yeah. Anything you want to chat about before we jump right into Bravo head first? I think we have a lot to talk about. I don't really remember where we left off necessarily, so we're going on vibes here.
Okay. I'm all about vibes.
Yeah, we're all vibes this week. All right, let's go. Let's start our vibing in New York. How are you feeling so far? I think we're on episode 5?
Yeah, 5 or 6. 5-ish.
What are you still in? Are you still all in on the season?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I like them to get along, but there's still like there's enough drama where it's like interesting for me, but not enough where it's like we hate each other. And I'm enjoying it so far. I like Jenna Lyons a lot.
I do like Jenna Lyons a lot. I like her more than I think I expected to. But as each week goes on, my feet start backing up even more. I'm not fully in yet. I'm like, my toe is in, and then I'm like, I'm like dipping it, and then I'm pulling it out really quick. It's not grabbing me yet, unfortunately.
Do you think it's because
the first episode so far was the best episode in my opinion?
Do you think it's because your least favorite is like kind of at the epicenter of a lot of things?
Sai?
No, not Sai. The one that you related to Bethany Frankel. Is
Erin?
That her name? Yeah.
The Trump supporter.
Is she a Trump supporter?
If we're thinking the same person, yes.
The one who does like real estate, and
she
had the conversation with
she's a
Jessel.
Trump supporter. She donated to Stop the Steal or something, and obviously those donations are public, and then she tried to say like, no, we weren't. I don't know, it was kind of like a bullshit thing. This was maybe like last week or 2 weeks ago that came out, but her Instagram followers were questionable anyway, so she's MAGA for sure. But yeah, no, I think honestly, she on the show bothers me the least so far. Except that's not true. I'm middle. That's not true even a little bit. Because I like Jenna, I like Brynn, I still like Uba. I like those 3. The rest I'm out on. I don't have any interest in them. But Erin is the only one that I feel like doesn't actively irritate me. Where Sai and Jessel do actively irritate me. So I'm like middle ground with her on the show.
I think Sai is trending up for me. I also understand the conversation that we saw on Reddit and then brought to Melissa Beck herself of why people like are reminded of Melissa Beck, aka like, if you've been here with us for a long time, you know that we're fans and have podcasted with her and are in her DMs. But yes, that I think like Sai is kind of the like Walmart version of Melissa Beck in a way. Because I get it. I feel like the way they talk is kind of similar, but Melissa is like 10 times wittier and quicker with it, where like, but Sai has kind of that same like energy in terms of how she brings whatever she's saying to the conversation. This past week's episode, I was like, I get it. I understand. I don't think that they are like interchangeable by any means. Like I would, can you imagine like Melissa Beck and Jenna Lyons interacting? I would
love to personally see it.
Yeah. Give me an hour of that each week, if not more. Yeah. I would love that.
I'm all in.
But I don't know. She's like kind of trending up for me. I don't feel strongly about anybody, but I don't need to.
Problem. No, I think that's my problem. I want to feel strongly about all my housewives. It's episode 5 or 6. I should have a stronger opinion on all of these women than I do. And I just kind of don't care. I'm not invested in any of their stories. I like Brynn. I like what we're getting from her. I like that she's sharing her story and her background. I think it's really an impactful story. I like Brynn a lot. Give me more Uba. I want to hear more about her. I want to get to know her a little bit. Sai and like her brand manager and whatever for her social media empire is like a little like, what's happening here? You have Instagram followers, so now you have like a whole company on your payroll with health insurance. I'm confused, but I also kind of don't care. I don't know. It's just not hitting for me. I'm bored.
Oh, I haven't been bored by any of it.
I'm bored by, I think, all of it.
That's funny. I could, like, there's nothing about it where I'm like, I need to, or it's Monday, let me turn this on first thing in the morning type of thing about it for me. But it's still like pleasant enough in comparison to some recent seasons of Housewives where I just am like, I'm assuming it's going to get better. It also, I mean, for me, I feel like 5 to 6 episodes isn't a lot for me to feel like emotionally attached to someone yet. I feel like some of these things like take time to, I'm a slow burn, as they say on Love Island, which yes, I've caught up on all of Love Island USA and I have some opinions on that. But anyway, if you have a Love Island podcast, ask me on. I'm ready for it. So
we should be covering Love Island.
Yeah, we should. It's
we as a network, not me, because I don't watch it, but
it happens so much. Do we have the same water? Is yours like a
it's you just have like a blue top. Yeah. Oh my god, look at us. Cheers. Mine's actually iced coffee in here right now at 8:27 p.m., but same thing.
My friend got it for me for my birthday. That's funny.
Cute.
Anyway, so I was saying Love Island happens like every night. It's just so hard to keep up with. Like, you really have to be dedicated to the cause. But
I'm not.
I digress.
I can't be dedicated to Love Island and Big Brother. My life is consumed
impossible.
by Big Brother right now. It's become a problem.
I feel like this happens a lot with you guys at the beginning of the season, where it's like, because there's so many people and so many things to keep up with, and it kind of dies down toward, not dies down, but it's like easier to manage because you can like, you don't need to see like 18 different conversations that have happened, and it's like 6 different conversations that have happened.
And this cast has not stopped gaming since the second. They are all unhinged. I don't know what they're pumping into the air into that house, but it has been nonstop since they moved in. We got like 2 reprieves with feeds being down, one unfortunately for a racial incident, so I'm not going to say like yay for us, that sucked that it happened, but it was great that Big Brother handled it quickly and swiftly, and then the other we still don't really know, but the feeds were down for like over 18 hours or something, so we got like some time back over the weekend, but since then it's just been go go go. But anyway, that's a different podcast.
I'm okay not being involved in that one. That's fine.
Yeah, that's a different podcast.
I haven't muted the hashtag yet.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Just so you can see the joys of Felicia on your timeline. I hope you're enjoying her at least, because she's an icon and a legend.
So, see, I was set Felicia for her name. This happened with me and Azah, because I read her name as Azah the whole fucking season.
Yeah.
That's like one of the downfalls of like not watching anything.
Yeah,
it's just I interpret, or like I pronounce everybody's name in my head the way I want to, and probably not how it's pronounced. But she's been on my timeline a lot, that's for sure.
Well, she's great. But I don't know, back to Roni. See, it's not even holding my attention to talk about it. That's how out I am on it. It's just one of the shows that I feel like I could throw on in the background and just sit on my phone the whole time, which you need those shows, so I get it.
I mean, that's
but it's
all
just
of my shows,
my
to be
attention.
Honest. If I can't be on my phone during a show, I don't want to watch the show. I am the worst. I am the worst.
I'm the same. Unless it's like a Sunday night, Last of Us, Succession, something, and I'm invested, then I don't want to be on my phone. But like reality TV, I want to be able to be on my phone.
Yeah, Lavelle came out to the living room and he was like, let me put on whatever. And I was like, no, you're leaving soon. Like, I'm in the middle of watching this. And he's like, you don't even watch. You just listen. Like, and what's your point?
That's how we're engaged. That's how we're engaging. Yes.
I'm like, have you ever heard of a podcast? It's basically the same thing.
It's true. It is the same thing. For Roni, I feel like there are a few storylines that have irritated me.
Tell me.
Let me tell you what they are. They are the weirdness with, first of all, okay, we talked about this last time we spoke a couple of weeks ago, but like the constant badgering of Jessel and her sex life, like, I'm over it. This is annoying me. Stop talking about it. And the fact that Sai's husband was the only one that like had a reasonable explanation or a reasonable thought to put like into the universe, I was one, pleasantly surprised, but two, like, guys, is this like, do you have nothing better to talk about than this woman that you obviously barely know and her sex life or lack thereof?
What I wonder is, does something happen like later in the season where all these conversations then make sense? You know what I
I'm
mean? Where like
sure that this is
her
editing.
husband like serves her papers being like, we're getting divorced because you haven't given me a blowjob in 3 years or whatever.
I mean, it's possible. They were on Watch What Happens Live this week, I think, this Sunday, maybe. Time is lost to me, but her husband was the bartender and they seemed fine. So I think they're okay. So I don't know where we're headed with this story, but I'm over it. I'm over Sai talking about how Erin doesn't feed her. We get it. We get it. Every single confessional doesn't have to be you talking about how she doesn't feed you. We get it. Let's move along, please. And Bryn trying to make something out of nothing with Jenna Lyons because she said, I'm having an event at my house. And it's because her kids and her godchildren or whoever are over there to decorate the tree. Like, that's a family event. Just because she said it's an event, like, we don't need to make it a thing.
Yeah, the one thing that I'm not a big fan of with Bryn is how she tries to turn how people respond to other people and then like compare it to how they respond to her. And it just seems like a little naive to me and ignoring like, well, for example, like Jenna Lyons is incredibly more famous than you, one. So I'm sure that there's some of that. And then two, like Erin doesn't have this long-standing history, which it appears like she has with Bryn. So, like, if someone's annoying you for the 100th time versus the first time, you're gonna get different reaction, Bryn. But everything else I like about Bryn, especially that she's trying to like win chess tournaments. I just thought that was so funny.
Yes, I thought that was also funny. That I liked. I wish we got more of that personally. And
she like Bryn. Didn't know what button to click, and the dude was like on top.
Yeah. I want to see more. Give me a show of just Bryn playing chess and I'm all in on it.
Let me live stream.
Yeah, she should be a Twitch chess streamer. I'm in on it. The other thing I don't love, and maybe this is because Erin is a real estate person or whatever, but like the constant like back and forth around like what's an upcoming neighborhood, or like this is a New York thing, or this is chic and this isn't, this is trendy, it's not in New York. I live here, and granted, I'm not in their social circles or in any social circle like theirs, but it's like, that's just, it makes us true people who live in New York City boil down to just like nonsense almost on the show. And like, that's not what 99% of the conversations are in this city. And they're like, we're the real New York. And I'm like, actually, like, no one gives a shit if you go to Catch or if someone says Tribeca's an up and coming neighborhood. Like, nobody cares. Nobody cares. This is why I just feel like there's no substance here. I want a little more. Give me something a little deeper. Or give me something more unhinged, one way or another. But like right now it's not hitting.
Well, in a preview, it looks like Jenna Lyons is single. So I wonder.
I'm ready.
Maybe that's where we start getting into some more stuff. But yeah, I think, I don't know how you feel. Does Uba remind you of the model one from Dubai? Do you know who I'm talking about?
They are cousins.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Chanel Iman? Is that?
Yeah, no, the one that's like super funny. And I wish like Chanel she Iman lived in New York model, City.
What is her name? Yes. Yeah, they found out that they're cousins.
Oh, that's really funny because they remind me of each other quite a bit.
Yes. Dubai. I'm looking. Chanel Iman, not Iman. Chanel Iman is a different model. Chanel Iman is, she's cousins with Uba.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Apparently I have cousin radar.
Yeah, I love both of them. So
yeah,
shout out to them. I love Uba. I want more Uba. She's giving me, it's like almost like she's a friend of. I feel like we're not really getting a lot of story from her, and I hope that we do end up getting more.
Yeah, hopefully. I'm enjoying her. I've liked Bryn for the most part. I like Jenna. Sai is trending upwards for me, but I still like the other three better. And then I don't know, like Jessel and Aaron, like their whole conversation, they're just two people who like aren't meant to be friends. Like they don't have the same banter. They don't have the same like even communication style really. I think that just conversations between them are not enjoyful is not a word, is it?
Enjoyable?
Enjoy. There you go. I was like, I know that what I'm saying is wrong, but I don't know what is right.
It felt right to me. I enjoyed it.
Joyful, dumbass. I'm working on a doctorate right now. Like
your brain is dedicated to other spaces right now.
It's dedicated to postcards. It's dedicated to the same 3 sentences over and over.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Proceed. Leave me out of this.
Well, I don't know. I unfortunately don't have that much else to say about Roni. And I feel like when Roni's on TV, it's a topic of conversation with the, former cast. And now I just don't feel like they're giving me anything to litigate or talk about, or like I'm not on anyone's side. I'm not invested in even like their little tiffs. Like I don't really care.
Yeah.
So there's just not that much to talk about for me.
I think like because I hated so much of Roni that I former Roni that anything is better. And so that's why I'm still like, all right, I'm totally cool with this.
I just feel like at least it made me feel something.
Yeah, I would rather not hate everyone and then like hope that things are going to develop with who we have.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. And I agree. I totally agree. We'll see where we go. I don't know what my hopes are for the rest of the season. I don't know if we've seen a mid-season trailer yet. I don't think we're probably not at the midway point, but I don't know. All the girls have been on Watch What Happens Live. Well, not all of them, but Brynn, Erin, and Jessel, I think so far. I don't know if we've had Sai. I don't think we've had Jenna. And they've been fine. Brynn is doing a lot off screen about Shep Rose from Southern Charm. I guess Andy Cohen was like, who can we hook you up with in the Bravo universe? And she's like, I like Shep. And then they started DMing, and then supposedly she was in the background of a picture, but it wasn't actually her, it was someone else. So it was just like a mess for a couple of weeks with Shep and Brynn. And I'm kind of almost like, okay, this is like too much for your first 3 weeks on television. But I don't know. I'm still liking her, even though it seems like I'm doing nothing but complaining.
Have we gotten to the point where she's like fucking people's dads yet, or no? That's got to be coming. Okay.
Next week, it looks like she is flirting with Aaron's husband, which I'm excited to see.
Right.
That I'm excited to see.
Yeah. Maybe shit will start going down then.
I hope so. We'll see. Anything else about Roni? It doesn't feel right to not have a passionate opinion about something.
I'm letting it grow. Let it blossom.
Okay. Yeah, we can nurture it.
Yes. Sing to it. Water it. Put it in direct sunlight for not all of the day, but just some of the day.
Yeah, totally. All right. Let's shimmy on down the East Coast then to the ladies of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Cynthia is back in action. Took her long enough to show up. I was promised Cynthia Bailey way earlier. Not really. I just knew she was going to be on the show, and I expected her earlier, but I was promised nothing.
Well, she got to show up to Sheree's birthday party, unlike half the cast. So she showed up just in time, apparently.
Apparently. Are you happy to see Cynthia back? I was happy.
Yeah, for sure. I always enjoyed Cynthia, and I thought that she did such a good job of being like, I think she is actually probably what Sonya's doing her best to do right now, which is like be that glue between everyone. Cynthia always more or less did that with ease. I think like, well, I can only think of really like one major conflict, which was when she like kicked Portia, but like Portia kind of deserved that. So,
yeah. Well, there's her issues with Nene. And obviously we saw her in Kenya on Girls Trip.
Yeah.
That was Darth Cynthia to me.
Yeah.
Not Jedi Cynthia. She was Darth Cynthia. I know you're not a Star Wars person, but
I just assumed it's bad. So
it is.
Jedi has a much like happier connotation to it than Darth does.
Yeah.
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 So, no, I feel like she's always been good at that, and that's if there was like a Cynthia and a Sonia this season, I think we would have less of like the unnecessary like bickering, and
Yeah.
I think things would flow a little bit better. But so yeah, I was definitely happy to see Cynthia back. Always been a Cynthia fan.
Yeah, I've never been like an over the top Cynthia fan, but I've always enjoyed her. Like I've never been like, okay, time for Cynthia to go. So I'm happy to see her. I'm happy to hear that she and Kenya mended fences since that mess of a girls trip, because that was weird. That falling out was weird. So I'm glad that they're in a much better place now, it seems like. And even Kenya, I don't feel like we always get genuine Kenya. Obviously, pretty often I feel like we don't get genuine Kenya, but I do feel like in that confessional where she was like, you know, I'm always going to be there for her and I'm happy to have my sister back. Like that felt very genuine from her. So I was happy to see that.
No, I agree.
Yeah. Hopefully she could deliver with the last few episodes we have left of the season. I don't think we have that much left to go. I know they recently filmed the reunion. So I assume we're rounding the finish line on Real Housewives of Atlanta. But what do you feel about the storylines that we've been following so far? I think the main topics of conversation now, Sonia is pregnant as of this past episode. We have a lot of Drew happening, a lot to Todd's movie, which, you know, I don't care about at all. Marlo's new man, we've lightened up a little bit. Oh,
have we lightened up a little bit? Because as DM Rock said,
this is light and fun to me.
Oh, they like got into it on the after show.
Okay,
I haven't watched any after show except this one because Queens of Bravo had said like, how come the best drama we saw all season was on the after show?
Oh, I missed this.
And I was sitting here doing postcards and I was like, I'll just, because it like played naturally after the episode. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just watch it. And so yeah, what DM Rock said was, did you see that Sonia and Sheree were fighting on the after show about Martell paying for dinner, which did happen. So this birthday dinner, Sheree was like, why would you expect him to pay? We haven't been together that long. And then at that point, Sonia was like, actually, that makes sense. But I did go into it thinking that like, he was going to pay for your birthday dinner. And Sheree's like, you didn't even bring me a gift. Why should he? And she was like, you've never given me a gift. And then this is like, Sheree loses me. And I know you like Sheree because she's like 40% delusional on a good day and usually higher. And that shit drives me wild because then like her big point was like, why would your man ever want another man paying for your like for both of your meal? And it's like polite. And she like was driving that point home. And to me, like that's fucking batshit because people buy people meals all the time. Like there is not a territory that comes with like, it is so, why can't I think of words? Emasculating. Thank you. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with me with like prefixes and suffixes today, but maybe it's because I like talk to nobody all day and then all of a sudden I'm just expected to like
maybe perform for me.
Yeah, it's me and Nitro and I'm like, let me put your cone on. Like that's the extent of what happens here. So yeah, like that it's so emasculating that like, why would you, it was crazy. And Marlo was just sitting there kind of like taking it all in because it was only the three of them on the after show.
Yeah.
But it became like a pretty big deal between them. Sheree was heated up and Sonia was trying to like talk it back, especially at the beginning. She's like, no, you're right. You haven't been together that long. It does make sense. It was like a $1,500 meal. And they were saying like, he's out there asking for cash apps and everything.
Well, I did hear someone, I don't remember whose confessional it was on the show, said he like was passing around the cash app at the table. I don't remember who said that, but yeah.
It was easily like 25% of the after show.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to watch that.
And it's like the first part. So if you don't really want to watch, there wasn't too much like extra information from this after show. Like I said, I've never watched one before, but it's kind of interesting because they had Sonia, Sheree, and Marlo together. And then it's Drew and Candy. and then it's just Kenya on her own. So it's almost like extra confessionals for Kenya.
That's weird.
Yeah, I thought that was so strange. Like,
that is strange.
Why is she on her own? Even
that's bizarre
in there to like bounce things off of with, but yeah, they like got into it, and Sheree's points just were so illogical, and that's why I love her.
I know, and that's why I love her.
Even I don't know if I've said this before, but honestly, I think part of the reason that I get so frustrated just even going into an episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta this season is Sheree's fucking tagline. You didn't break the internet. You had a piece of shit website that could not handle some traffic. You didn't you didn't break the internet. You were on like Squarespace or whatever it is, and you needed something. You needed to buy like the premium
some
plan
more bandwidth,
and not the free option. And I think because I hear that at the beginning of every episode, I'm like, this fucking bitch. Like I just, I get like angry going into it.
See how passionate we feel about these women on one of the worst seasons of Real Housewives of Atlanta.
In our life for 15 years. Well,
and I'm thankful for all 15 of those years that I have known Sheree personally.
Maybe not you'll actually feel personally, like that after some time with New York.
Perhaps. But we're not getting Who Gonna Check Me Boo in season 1 of any of these ladies. We're not getting that.
I think it's also just like an entirely different time, because I feel like too. Then you weren't like looking to say something that you can like put on a trucker hat to be at Watch What Happens Live with. But
yeah. What are your thoughts on Sheree having an email address
at AOL?
At AOL.com.
Okay.
Because this killed me in the best way.
When I heard it, I actually thought of two different things. So do you know who Bill Simmons is?
Yes.
He's like big sports writer.
Yes.
He still has an email address at AOL.com, and like everybody at the Ringer clowns on him for it.
Is he the sports guy at AOL or something?
It's not probably something like that. Yeah. And then I, as I've mentioned on here, I'm very active with a group called Sister District, and we just had this like fundraiser that I was in charge of this past weekend, and we were trying to do recruitment. So I was emailing over 300 people, and not just like put them all in one email and send it, like individual email. And there was at least like 10 people that had AOL email addresses. So I knew that those people were like 65 and older right away. Yeah. Just like, maybe not 65, but at least like 50.
Over 50.
To 55. And I was like, you are aging yourself right here with this email address. So when she said that, I was like, yeah, that tracks. That absolutely tracks.
Yeah. If anybody on
no wonder your website broke if you're still using AOL.com.
Yeah. Honestly, an icon. She's an icon to me. Drew and Ralph going through it once again. The centerpiece of the show somehow. I don't know why we care, but someone thought that we did. So, yeah. Are we surprised that Ralph is a dick? Because I'm not.
I don't know if I like don't care. I might like hate care about it more than anything.
Yeah.
But like something that is just kind of, I feel like because we're watching a reality TV show and they're letting us see some of like what's wrong.
Yeah.
To me, like that conversation were they bowling, like the mini bowling or whatever? Yeah. That conversation like wasn't enough for Ralph to like move out of the bedroom and like publicly treat her like, I want to know what else is going on. It's almost like give me nothing or give me everything, but this in between, and you want me to do this like mental gymnastics of, okay, even if you did make out with a girl, like even the women said it, like, is it really that big of a deal? Right. So I just feel like we're missing some pivotal stuff in this that's what's annoying me the most. Like I need more details, or just don't show me like the little parts, because that makes me frustrated.
Yes, I agree with you. I thought I missed something at that bowling date, because I was like, wait, since this date, they've been like on the outs with each other. I don't even feel like anything that bad even happened. And I felt like Drew was like laughy jokey about it a little bit. and like the way she was talking with him instead of like, it didn't seem that serious to me. And again, I was definitely watching something on my phone or scrolling through something. So maybe I did miss something, but I feel like if there was that big enough of a conflict or that big of a conflict, it would have caught my attention a little bit more.
Yeah.
I also feel like Drew is very inauthentic. So I don't believe a lot of what she's giving us, the audience. The same way I think Ralph obviously is just a dick, which we know.
Yeah.
You know, since we first met Ralph, he's been a dick. So that doesn't surprise me. But I just feel like Drew also is clearly not perfect. And I think she just comes off as a full-on liar to me. And I don't remember where I heard it, if it was on Watch What Happens Live or if it was like on a clip or something, but everyone was like, somebody was like, Drew is a liar. Maybe it was Marlo. I don't remember.
It was Marlo, and it was in the show because I also was thinking of that part when you like were talking about Drew in general. It's kind of like, it's interesting. Marlo, not that she's necessarily a voice of reason, like we've talked about, but like if Marlo says something that is like affirming about someone and not necessarily like positive, like her and Candy aren't getting along, but she's like, Candy doesn't lie, in the same way that like her and Drew aren't necessarily like not getting along, like they've made up but not made up or whatever. But like if Marlo says like, unless it's about Kenya, I remove Kenya. Kenya's like the I before E except after C. Like Kenya's the after C part of this. But like if Marlo kind of makes like a statement about someone, I tend to be like, yeah, that's pretty true. And I agree with her. Drew is trying to be an actress on a reality TV show is really what it comes down to me. Like the props that we've had through the past seasons and stuff, like stop. Just stop.
Yeah.
Like, is Candy carrying around one of those Bluetooth like karaoke microphones and singing all the time?
Kind of wish she was. That would be fun.
Is Kenya walking around with a bass drum going Kenya Moore hair care everywhere? Sometimes, but that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. She tries too hard for something that is supposed to be authentic.
Yes. She just comes across to me as very curated, and I just don't believe a lot of what she's talking about or giving us at all. And that's what makes me just feel completely uninvested in both her and Ralph. Like, I'm not on her side. I'm not on his side. I'm on the side of like, are we done with this yet? Because I don't care. Which is almost why I'm liking Sonia a little bit more this season, because she is coming across a little bit more authentic, even though I also don't care about her storyline. Although, like, shouts to them. They're pregnant. That's great. I mean, like, the storyline with her family and stuff, we've talked about it. Yeah. It's not interesting and I don't care.
Sonia with the women, great.
Yes.
Sonia with her family,
do not
cut
care.
that out. Like, just we don't need it.
Sonia would be a good friend of, I think, because we wouldn't need like the home storyline. It would just be her with the women, and then we could get to know her, and then maybe she could have been brought on as a full-time. But I feel like we're getting a little too much of Sonia's family still. Again, other than the pregnancy, I feel like that was a storyline last season. Yeah. And we talked about it a little this season, so I get why we're following that. And again, I'm happy for them. It killed me when she did her pregnancy announcement and opened the jacket and her shirt said, "I'm pregnant," and everybody around like didn't notice it in the picture until she was like, zoom in. That really got me. I just thought that was so funny that like everybody was just busy looking at themselves, or like, I blocked you from the group chat. It just really made me laugh.
I also thought it was funny that when her and Mr. Sonia did it for her parents, because I'm forgetting his Ross, right? Whatever his name is.
Ross.
That's his last name though. But
Aaron. I literally just looked him
We've
up.
Googled this.
I just looked him up before this to see what position he made.
We've done this exact thing on this exact podcast.
I'm literally gonna do it again because Aaron Ross. Yeah, it's Aaron.
Okay, I really didn't think it was
literally
Aaron.
30 minutes ago. That's not true. 45 minutes ago, I looked him up.
I thought it was funny when they like had the shirts on and they were standing in the wrong order, so it said "pregnant were."
Yeah,
and the mom was like, "What are we looking at? Like, what's going on? Like, you know what? Maybe you're not good at reading sentences backwards, so I don't blame you, Mom. So it's all right."
Yeah, so funny. Yeah, I don't know. We're still getting a lot of the movie. I looked up the director that we were introduced to in this episode. He's done nothing, because I do feel bad that I trashed trashed Drew's acting history. She's been in some stuff. So, you know, shouts to Drew on that. But this director, not so much. Also, this movie is not on his IMDb page as an in development or upcoming project. So I wonder what's going on.
Yeah. We do see in the preview that Todd is very complimentary of Drew's acting. Like, she's like the best part of the movie. So
yeah. This is giving me hints of the Drew being with a woman storyline, because it seems like those are the scenes that they're filming. And that, because Ralph was like, oh, if it's girl on girl, I'll be there, but I don't want to be there for girl on guy. And then Todd is saying that she's a great actress. It feels like they're leading me in a direction.
Into that.
Yeah.
I believe it.
I just want to know the goal of this movie. We have Candy as an actress. We have Drew as an actress, and we have Shamia as an actress. Like, what are we doing here? Is this a real movie or is it not? What's happening?
Todd's passion project. It's to get him to shut up so Candy can keep doing what she wants to do.
How many passion projects does Todd need?
I feel like this is his like one, and then he just opens a restaurant every.
Didn't he have a trucking company? Like a couple of seasons ago.
He might
have.
And then
the condo in New Jersey. Like, sir, please pick a lane.
He moves between lanes in his trucking company. He puts his, and that's that.
I think I'm on Team Mama Joyce on this one. You know my feelings on Todd.
I can't ever be Team Mama Joyce. That woman annoys the fuck out of me.
Oh, she's annoying as hell. But I do believe I'm on her side about Todd. I don't know. The upcoming episodes look okay for Atlanta. I'm excited to see Martell back. Because
they haven't been bad.
No, they've been just like
it's definitely gotten better. I was hating watching it at the beginning of the season, and now it's like, this is fine.
I would say exactly, it's fine. I'm happy to see Cynthia. I hope that we wrap up the season with a nice little bow. Once it's over, we get a good reunion. I'm worried that I don't necessarily think it's time for a reboot for Atlanta. I think we have had a few lackluster seasons in a row. I think we can we've talked about it, but I think we can keep some of the women. I think we could do some recasting, maybe bring some OGs back, but I hope it's just not Kim Zolciak, please. I just don't want them to just like fire everybody and do a reboot.
Yeah, I don't think you need to.
Yeah. I just don't want them to like feel like they have this momentum from New York and do this on all the shows. I feel like we could find our stride with some of the women.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like there was something I was going to ask you about earlier, but I can't remember it. Oh, I don't understand. Maybe I need to try this. Maybe I need to go on my own little field trip. But these women across every single fucking Bravo show are so obsessed with like sound baths. And
oh yeah.
Do they actually work? Or am I just I'm also like I'm a certified hater in a lot of things.
Same.
But put up on near the top of the list, calling things like this self-care. And just self-care in general. I think wellness. That's called like take care of your basic needs, people. And then self-care, that's it. That's what you're doing. Like, anyway. And so I don't know. What did you think of Drew's like peace day or whatever the fuck she called it?
I was laughing at Drop It with Drew.
Oh yeah.
Because what was that? And I was laughing that Marlo showed the 404 website, the 404 error on the website. I also was laughing because Sheree was like, this is literally exactly what we just did in Portugal. Like she did my trip. So there were things about it that made me laugh. Marlo made me laugh when she said it smelled in there, so she wasn't breathing, and then she didn't want to, she didn't have any socks on. Like, there were funny parts of it, but the actual like healing part of it, I was like, we're really doing this again? I'm done with this. Every show is doing this. I don't need it.
Yeah. They're either there or like at a dude ranch.
Yeah. And we have a lot of dude ranch work happening these days too.
Yes. Shit, there was something else I was going to ask about too. Oh. Okay, I don't even want to bring it to like what do you think of Kenya thinking this, but like Kenya and this whole baby thing is kind of wild to me. Because one, I'm not saying Kenya is old, but Kenya is too old to have a baby. Like the fact that number one happened and like she didn't die, congrats. But like then when she brought in Candy and was it Shamia who was the other person?
Yeah, was it Shamia? I think it was Shamia. Because didn't Shamia just recently have
that they both use the same surrogate? And then it's I
don't remember. Yeah.
But then I've never thought of this, but also I've never really, not that I've never thought of having kids because I know I don't want kids. Mm-hmm. So I've never really had to think about like, how would I feel if I had a surrogate? But the question that she asked when she was like, were you jealous of the surrogate? Like, I can't imagine being jealous of a woman going through childbirth, first and foremost.
I think I get her point of like, did you not like, maybe jealous isn't the right word that or like jealous of like the bonding and like that she got to like carry the child for close to 10 months, I guess. Maybe that's what I can understand the question.
I think the way it was worded threw me off, and that I just like, as soon as I heard, were you jealous of it, that I went into my like very natural, like, how the fuck are you jealous of having to have like your vagina ripped open to your asshole type of thing?
I assume she meant like the connection between.
Yeah, maybe that's it, but
that's what I took it as.
I can understand that, I guess. I just hope she doesn't try to have children. Like, she'll die. She'll actually die.
I don't know. I don't know enough about.
She almost died with the first one.
Yes, she obviously didn't have an easy pregnancy with the first child. And maybe, the Kardashians love to do this shit. And I'm not saying that Kenya is like a Kardashian, but we do get sometimes manufactured storylines from Kenya. Not saying she doesn't want to have another baby, but the Kardashians are notorious for being like, oh, pregnancy, can't do it, gotta have a surrogate. And like, maybe they can. I mean, they, Kim and Khloe both did carry children and then they both use a surrogate. I don't know what their health situation is, but it did feel, whatever it is, I don't feel like we got the full story and they just like put it on TV to excuse the fact that they used a surrogate, which I don't think they need an excuse for.
If I was going to say,
use a surrogate. Like,
yeah, if you can afford it,
maybe people will judge you in the public, but like, that's up to you. That's your business. I have no judgment against that. So maybe Kenya's like talking about it as if she's going to carry the baby just to make it seem like even if she had no intention of it, just to like put it out there. I don't know. Yeah. I have no idea. I don't know. Use a surrogate if you want to use a surrogate. I have no feeling or judgment against anybody. But I just hope Kenya is safe. Brooklyn is so cute and so funny. So whatever, bring another kid into the world, however it makes sense. But yeah, just be careful because I know her first pregnancy was not easy. Yeah.
I'm team have somebody else do it.
Yeah, have someone else do it. If you can afford it, have someone else do it. What I'm having feelings about is like, we're using Mark's with Mark wild. Like that's like a little like but I don't know the ins and outs of the legal agreements and whatever. Like I have no idea, but I don't know that I would want to deal with this man. But maybe they don't have to. I don't know. Maybe there's something in their divorce that's still ongoing that says that they don't have to interface if she uses. I mean, they're going to be interfacing anyway. They share a child, but
if she wants it to be her eggs, it's probably like the only opportunity that she has to.
Yeah.
So it's like she's stuck, but
yeah,
it is a little weird. I mean, as someone who like, I cut people off cold turkey when I'm done with them, like. There would be no way I'm using my ex's eggs or like not ex's eggs, but like my ex's, the embryos I've created with them or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
but I say like, if Kenya can do it, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm supportive. Mm-hmm. She's a good mom. At least it seems like that from definitely what we know. We don't know her personally, but yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
Anything else in Atlanta? I'm thinking, like, did we miss someone?
No, I don't. I mean, we were kind of quiet on Marlo, but I feel like things have kind of been quiet with Marlo anyway. She's been, but I mean, she hasn't been like at the forefront fighting with people, which has been nice because I feel like
it has been nice.
Marlo has the ability to determine the energy in the room the same way that Kenya does. And so when they're both on like their polite bullshit, it's nice because it's everything is like banter and not as much like the jugular. But I mean, Marlo's really, she's just kind of in the middle of like sending the videos to people that happened that night. But I don't know if I need to really talk about that because it just kind of seems.
Yeah. I know, I'm really not interested in that storyline. I just, Marlo has very quickly become one of my favorites. I don't know, something about her. I just really like her. Even when she's fighting, she makes me laugh. Like, I don't know. I enjoy Marlo. So I'm glad we're getting like a more subdued version of Marlo where she's not like in the middle of a lot of drama. Even her and Candy, they can coexist. They can get along. She showed up to Candy's event looking beautiful. She showed up to support. I like that. That's what I actually really like about Atlanta is that like the women can fight and then they can like go to each other's events and like coexist and then they'll fight again later on. But like we do get both sides of it instead of just like constant fighting.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
Well, let us move on to the West Coast and we'll go to Real Housewives of Orange County. How are you feeling about this season so far?
I'm still good on it. And I think the biggest reason why is like we have two people who have been untouchable in different ways between Tamra and Heather finally being challenged. And we've talked about before, it seems like this whole cast, maybe except for Jen, but Jen has learned very quickly that like Heather and Tamra each have their ways of interacting with the women that you can have an issue with. And this is like how you need to go about it. So I'm liking that there's I wouldn't call it like a power struggle, but the power dynamic is definitely different than I would have expected if you had said to me at the beginning of the season, you have Tamra, Shannon, and Heather Dubrow all in the same season again. It's definitely, I'm enjoying that. However, I do have a question for you.
Okay.
Because as I was watching this, I was like, I feel like one of Katie's favorite things is happening and one of Katie's least favorite things are happening at the same exact time, which is Shannon Dubrow, or not Shannon Dubrow, Shannon, what?
Bedore.
I can't talk.
Storms Bedore.
Whatever the fuck her name is. Shannon, one of your favorites.
Yes.
Is very much hiding her relationship from us. And is freaking out whenever anybody brings up her relationship to the point that half of them even go like, rule number 1 is don't talk about Shannon's relationship. I want to know what you think about this because I feel like this is a real like crossroads for you in terms of how you feel about your housewives and how they behave.
It's a great question. And you're exactly right. It is something I hate when people hide their personal lives. But the reason I don't hate it here is because we're getting it anyway in almost a more dramatic fashion because the women are bringing it out. So it's like Shannon is very clearly getting drunk and spilling to these women. And then, of course, these women who are not her true friends are spilling within each other. And then it's coming up on camera anyway, which is almost more interesting because we get to see the way that she's reacting to them talking about it. Because, like, do I really care that much about her relationship with John? Not really, especially because we know that they're not together anymore. But I'm interested to see how like all the friendship dynamics shake out. So if we found out about all of this after the season and then we found out that Shannon was hiding all of this and we didn't get any of it on camera, I would be annoyed. But we're getting it still, just in a different way, and we're seeing her react in like the most unhinged Shannon, which is her purest form. So like we're getting everything in a convoluted way, so I'm okay with it.
All right. I can respect that. I was kind of annoyed where it's like the first rule about Fight Club is don't talk about Fight Club, but like if Fight Club is supposed to be a reality TV show on Bravo, then let's talk about Fight Club.
Yes.
So because I feel like it's almost like the Drew thing where I'm getting pieces and either present me everything or present me nothing. And so I don't want this breadcrumb trail. Like I either want the whole rotisserie chicken or none at all.
Yeah. Well, I think we're getting more of it than I expected. Like we got a lot in the confessional from Emily saying like some of the horrible things that John says to Shannon. My personal favorite moment, second favorite moment of the episode, I'll tell you what my favorite moment was in just a second, but of this past week was when Shannon was like, I called you one time and I've never talked to you. And Emily was like, you just called me. We just sat at this place. And and Shannon was just like dead eyed. And was just like, I don't remember. And I'm like, this is like, that was an iconic moment in my opinion. Like that was my favorite moment. So we wouldn't get that if we were just seeing it play out. Like Shannon clearly doesn't remember everything that she's saying to these women and is like living in her own delusional world. So I'm liking seeing the women calling her out about it.
Yeah, that's true. Because it seems like Shannon wants people to play defense for her, and they're like, nah, dog. We're not. Sorry.
Or it's like they were, but now they're tired of it. So it's like all coming out in pieces. But John does sound like a dick.
Yeah. I mean, they've broken up for a reason.
Yeah. And she's like getting into fights with his daughter and getting kicked out of bars.
Yeah.
Which she talked about on Watch What Happens Live, and it was like a weird response, but she's like, we did get into an argument, but I didn't get kicked out. The bar was closing. And I was like, okay, this is still, why are you getting into arguments with his daughter in the
bar was
place?
closing for you.
Yeah, you guys. Yeah, it was only closing for you. It was remaining open. It was just closed for you. My favorite part of last week's episode might be controversial. It was when Vicky Gunvalson,
I was going to ask about this,
was opening the wine, was like asking the guy for wine, the bartender for wine, and then she like took the bottle for him and the bartender just like walked away. Like, and she was opening the wine by herself. It just like, honestly, she's a monster human being, but she's comedy gold. She truly cracks me up. She was doing keg stands. Like she showed up as herself at the costume party.
I felt like she was trying to do too much, to be honest,
but it did make
let you know, like, I am Vicky, like I was the first one here, and like the keg stands, and just also something that's put me off about Vicky is not that she was like, I feel like she would use sexual talk as a weapon against some of the women.
Yes.
And like her friend, like especially Tamra, was like, she is the like horniest one of all of us. Like she's always saying all this shit. But then she would be like, I'm not going to talk about this. And now it's like a complete 180. And it just feels like Vicky's saying and acting and doing things because she wants to be back on TV, and like I'll act this way if it gets me put, like if Tamra's back on, Tamra does blah 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 blah, like not saying she's trying to be like Tamra, but I think she's like trying to like be a loosened up version of Vicky in what we're seeing in her return, because every time we're seeing her she's shit-faced. So
yeah, it's true. I don't know. I feel like the show itself has, I mean, even in the episode last week, it was like a greatest hits of Vicky Gunvalson. They were giving us all her best of clips. So it's like, do you guys want her back or do you not? Like, what are we doing here?
I don't. I feel like that's too much of the balance, like the power dynamics completely change. I like that it shifts a bit between like, sometimes like Gina and Emily are in a place of like power, and then sometimes it's Tamra, and then sometimes it's like Heather and Shannon, or just Shannon and like it shifts, where I feel like if you bring Vicky back in, it's just she makes it that's so centralized around her that it's not going to be as enjoyable. Like I think one of the reasons I'm liking this season as much as I am is even our newest cast member seems like she's bringing it to the table, and that like the table turns. It's not just I like that it's back and forth. Some people are wrong, some people are right, but the sum changes every single week.
Yeah, I actually really agree with you there. I think if what I would have preferred, honestly, is for Vicky to be back and for Tamara to not be back, and have it just be like Vicky and Shannon, because I do feel like when Vicky and Tamara are not together, Vicky gets disarmed a little bit, so it's easier for other people to get in. But like when it's the three of them, it's just like it's too much.
So yeah, I mean, I never want Vicky back, so I'll take Tamara over Vicky. But I understand like we need one or the other. Having both, I mean, we even saw it when, I don't know, if you're gonna have like Vicky, Tamara, and Shannon out, and you can't get Shannon to like talk up front about her relationship there, we don't need Vicky. Like, we don't need Vicky. Yeah. I don't know like what else. So, but like, yeah, it's either one or the other. I don't think we need either. And I think the dynamics this season are very good, especially in comparison to what we've seen in the past. Yeah, from Orange County and like the recent past.
I agree. I'm really happy with the season. I think we're finally getting something from OC that we haven't gotten in a while. It's been interesting. Everybody, you're right, feels like they're on kind of a level playing field. Plus, I love a Heather Dubrow takedown. So like, I'm here for it. I'm enjoying it. This one, I think this franchise is the one I'm most excited to watch every week. Where I'm like, ooh, OC is on, let me put it on. Because it's like light and entertaining, but it's also dramatic, but it's also messy. Like, it's just giving me everything I want from a Housewives season.
Yeah. No, I agree. I absolutely agree. It's fun to watch, and the drama is like substantial enough, but it's not like too dark or too deep or too anything. But it is substantial enough, which I like.
Yes, agreed. Totally agreed.
This is kind of a question out of like left field, but yeah, I'm not going to remember his name because obviously it's me. Emily's husband,
Shane.
Sure. Where do you fall on Shane?
In the words of Kelly Dodd, that's a little bitch. Oh God. He's a dork. Mm-hmm. That's how I feel about Shane.
Got it.
In the words of Kelly Dodd.
Okay. Well, as soon as you said the words of Kelly Dodd, I knew nothing good was coming. So
yeah.
He's had like an interesting like arc as a Real Housewives husband, because he was a piece of shit to Emily at the beginning of her first season, and it's definitely changed. But I just was wondering what you thought. But now that we've quoted Kelly Dodd, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, like, she's got to leave this worm of a dude. I don't know what she's doing with this guy.
You think she needs to leave him? I think that like I like kind of like their relationship.
I think he's
gotten better. I think he's gotten better. Horrible. I think she's like kind of horrible too.
Yeah, I think he's pretty bad too.
Imagine just like coming into the middle of someone's podcast about something you know nothing about.
Yeah, shout out! I can't believe Vicky did that.
I think we need to
Isaiah,
change.
Do you want Vicky back?
I want Vicky back.
Isaiah, Vicky fan. Vicky Gumelson stan. Isaiah.
Yeah. All right, that's all I wanted. I wanted to say, oh my God, special guest Josie Ann.
Oh my God, it's an infiltration.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I saw this happening on the Slack.
Whoa.
Just wanted to say I miss you, Carrie, and I miss posting alert with you. That's it.
It's a crossover event.
Right,
quite the crossover, like an Allen Iverson crossover here.
Get this man out of here. Okay. Thanks for stopping by, guys. Yeah, no, I think she needs to leave Ed. That's it.
Interesting. Yeah, I think he's gotten better. But he was so bad at the beginning that like...
Yeah, it's like, where's the bar, Carrie?
Yeah.
Where's the bar?
Ask Vicky, she'll tell you where the bar is.
Don't ask Shane, because it took him like 8 times to find it and pass it. So
yeah, that's true.
He won't be able to point it out to you.
The lower scored version.
Yeah, exactly. Anything else on OC? I'm liking Jen still. I think this guy that she's with is a total loser, but I'm interested. Like, I'm like hoping her so far.
The storyline dies off and people have just like accepted. Like, okay, she's with him. Like, he's been a cheater. And you know what? Like, I don't know if this is a hot take, but if he decides to change his ways with her, like, great. And if she doesn't, or if he doesn't, then like, it's her choice to still be in this relationship. And it doesn't matter what any of you say, because you're not in the relationship.
Right.
So shut the fuck up.
And I think Shannon kind of said that a couple of weeks ago where she was like, let her figure it out on her own. Like, she's going to get there. Yeah, she will do what she wants. Let her live.
So I'm hoping that it has kind of died down. I'm hoping we like bury it.
Yes, I have a feeling it's going to be back. It seems like even in the preview next week, she's talking to someone maybe like in her family or something.
Great.
Whatever. I just don't care about this guy. Like,
no.
This is reminding me of last season. I mean, I'm more interested this season because I like this Jen more than last season's Jen. But this is like last season's Jen and Ryan instead of Ryan. He like changed his name to Ryan, where they were like having marital issues before they got on the show. And I'm like, am I supposed to care? I don't know these people. I'm just meeting her. Why do I care about Ryan, who only owns one t-shirt? Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
That was a rough season.
We're getting a little too, or we were a little too involved. I'm hoping that we like keep removing ourselves from the storyline. Like, I'd rather pick up the heat on Shannon's relationship than and lessen it on Jen's.
Yes, I agree. All right. Any other OC thoughts?
Nah, dog. I'm ready. Keep it moving.
Well, I know you said you didn't watch the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City trailer, but it did come out.
What'd you think?
You know, it's hard to say. I'm undecided. Mary Cosby is back.
Great. Super. Love that.
Spoiler alert.
Just kidding.
She does tell Heather that she looks inbred. So in the trailer.
Woo!
So, I mean, Heather says, do you think I look inbred? And Mary Cosby says, yes. So, I mean, I don't know why the question is being asked. There's no context other than that. But that's what we're getting from Mary Cosby this season so far. We have a new housewife. It looks like Angie K is back. I don't know. I'm like, whatever. I just feel like I need more space from Salt Lake City women. I don't know why. It just feels like they crowd me whenever they're on. Like, I just like, I need a moment, except for Lisa Barlow. Obviously, you know, I'm a stan. But just like seeing Heather and Whitney on my screen again, I feel like we didn't have enough time away.
Yeah. Like you said, did you watch it? And I was like, I didn't even know it came out, given I've been very absorbed in like the challenge and political fundraising for the last like 72 hours. But I'm not really even excited to watch it, to be honest. I will, but I'm not like, oh my God, right after this. I'll probably remember sometime tomorrow, like, oh shoot, I should watch. But
well,
I just
your journalistic duty.
Right. I'm a big J journalist, capital letter J. So I will watch it. It's just I'm not excited to. I think they just had like such a quick rise to the top and such a quick plummet that I don't think that second rise can happen that quickly. And so I'm going to need them to put in some work to really make me like enjoy it as much as I used to. And it's just hard because like we watched a whole season of like them kind of glorifying Jen Shah in a way. I still haven't forgiven them for that.
No, I will never. And I think Heather probably still rides for Jen Shah for some reason.
Oh my God. Rides
I don't know.
Or dies.
Ride or die. I'm ride or die for Jen. I don't think she came up topically in the trailer. So there's that at least. But it was just a lot of yelling in the trailer. I'm not really getting a sense of like any of the storylines that are happening.
Okay.
Based on what I'm seeing, the new housewife seems interesting.
Is Meredith
seems active. I know. She seems a little more activated this season. I don't know what's going on, but I think I need to do a rewatch of the trailer to really get a sense. But I don't know. It starts September 5th. It's right around the corner. It's here before we know it.
Soon.
Yeah, very soon.
We're halfway through August. It's wild.
I know. Isn't it wild? Before we leave Real Housewives land, I want to talk to you about Kyle Richards.
I didn't watch the music video. I've just heard that it's on a scale of 1 to gay, it's like super gay. And I don't say gay offensively there. I mean, if you've listened to any podcast I've talked about Kyle Richards, I've been rooting so hard for her to get with this woman if she's not with her or if she is with her. I'm supporting this lesbian relationship so much. And so I just want to clarify that gay was used in like a very positive way there.
Yeah. Okay, well, I guess we don't really have much to talk about because you didn't watch it, but I didn't watch the whole thing. I just saw clips. for someone who is in Instagram comments sections telling people to mind their business after she put Denise Richards and Brandi Glanville on blast happily for something that Denise Richards clearly didn't want to talk about on camera. And she's out there saying she wants privacy and making fun of people who are asking questions to make this video. I don't know what she's thinking. This is all giving manufactured. It's all giving clout chasing. It's like a lot for me, but like, whatever, do whatever you want, be with whoever you want. But it's giving like, okay, we need a Sandoval type of situation. So let me like fluff it up here and get some press so people will keep talking about it. But like, I'm not invested. I don't care. She's cringe to me. But you know, I hate Kyle. So she's just always been cringe to me. I just like, it's a lot.
I just don't have time in my life for any more hidden lesbians besides Taylor Swift. So like, I just, and let me also put an asterisk on that one. I actually think she's bi. I am not doing bi erasure.
And maybe Kyle's bi.
Yeah, maybe. But I just don't have time for deep diving on any other hidden relationships. I'm a full-blown galer, and that's all I'm going to put my effort into, unless something like a music video from Kyle is presented so upfront that you don't go to like Disneyland with this woman and like her family and stuff and then are not like eating each other out. That's all I'm saying.
There's definitely some eating out happening one way or another. I don't know I don't know. But yeah, it's definitely happening one way or another. I just don't care. Like, I don't care. Like I said, I support you. Find yourself in your 50s. Shout out to you. Be happy with whoever it is that you're with. I'm not shaming. I don't care. I'm very supportive if that's the route that you choose and you're exploring yourself and you find out these new things about yourself in this age, whatever. Be happy with this woman. But like, I don't care because I hate Kyle, so I don't care. And to me, it's all just clout. It's all just like manufactured drama. So like, it just feels like she's doing a lot just to get talked about and like hype up a season that's probably going to be pretty shitty and boring.
Yeah, it doesn't have the same level of attention to it because it'd be one thing if it was like she was having an affair with PK. And you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, give me that.
Or even Dorit, but it's like some
that
D-level country singer, I think. I don't think she's bigger than that.
I have no idea.
I had never heard of her before that.
I've never heard of any country singers except for Morgan Wallen for all the bad reasons and Jason Aldean for all the bad reasons. So that's all I know.
This is related to that's not Orange County, Beverly Hills, and the trivia I was talking about today. There was a question about Kendall Jenner's, is it Kendall, Kylie, whatever Jenner has a tequila, like
Kendall.
And it was like, what's the name of this tequila? And I was like, I know it's a number, and I know that Kathy Hilton was so upset about it.
Yes.
What is it? And so I just guessed like 7, and it was wrong. Yeah. Okay. Well, you should have done today's trivia because that was a question. And I've told like the group of friends that like we send our scores to each other that like I have a very distinct role in trivia, which is I'm not great at producing correct answers, but I am good at like giving hints or telling you like, no, I know your answer is wrong. I don't know the right answer, but I know it's wrong. Yeah. And so I was like, I know it's a number. I need somebody else to be able to fill in the number, but at least I know it's not a word. I get like 2 steps away from 60% of these answers, but I did think Kathy Hilton this morning because I was like, I know Kathy Hilton was upset about this tequila when Lisa Rinna drank it instead of hers.
I don't remember the name of Kathy Hilton's trivia.
You mean tequila?
Tequila. Yeah. Maybe Kathy Hilton also has trivia. I don't know. But I don't remember the name of Kathy Hilton's tequila. Even though she plugged it 700 times last season, it did not resonate with me, unfortunately. I'm sorry, Kathy.
Yeah. Maybe one day her tequila will be an answer, but it wasn't. Her opposition was today.
Yeah. Well, whatever. I'll say again, good for you, Kyle. Be happy. find love. If it's not with Mauricio, he will never emotionally fulfill you. Know that, as the one Alison Dubois said from the dinner from Party from Hell. But I just don't care about it personally. I don't care. All right. Shall we shift gears a little bit to a show that I normally love? And I don't want to say I'm loving it this season because we've dealt with a lot of really difficult shit, but Below Deck, Down Under.
I'm ready. We didn't watch this week.
Yeah, I'm not up to date on this week. I watched part of the episode. I didn't finish it, or I missed some of the beginning and then the end, so I watched like 10 minutes of it. But I'm caught up other than that. So, I mean, let's just address the Luke and Laura situation of it all, I guess. And Margot, I mean, I don't know where to start.
I think the best place to start is to say that from the beginning of the season, I felt like Luke was presented to us in a way where it seems like he is very used to getting what he wants. He's a very hypersexual person. And I know I was left feeling uncomfortable by Luke earlier in the season when he was like, close your eyes, or like some stupid, like corny, I don't even want to call it a pickup line, because pickup lines, you don't kiss someone when they're not looking and like without their permission. But essentially her name's Margot, right?
Yeah.
Margot closed her eyes and he just kissed her like without her permission or anything.
And it was like her first day.
Yes. And I felt like Luke was being presented to us in a way where like it's okay for you to feel uncomfortable about Luke because more is coming. So I don't want to say that like I wasn't surprised, because like I think you should always be surprised by when someone commits sexual assault, but like he was presented to us in a way that it's like if I were to guess that someone was going to do this, it would have been Luke.
Yeah. Yes, I agree with you. I felt, it almost makes me feel better to hear that you felt uncomfortable watching Luke, because the whole season I felt like he was triggering to me for some reason, and I couldn't really put my finger on what it was, but he like activated my fight or flight mode watching him on the show. Like he actually made me feel uncomfortable watching the show. Before anything extreme even happened, there were times where I would just like have to pause the episode because he was just like giving me the ick for some reason, even though like there were times with Margot where it was consensual, like she was kissing him, whatever, she was into it. It just like gave me the heebie-jeebies, and it wasn't enjoyable to watch. He just grossed me out. He felt like a dude in real life. If you ran into him, you would be like, ooh, stay away from that dude. Like he has a lot of like stories or stuff in his past. So I'm unfortunately not surprised either that it culminated in what it did. But for those of you who maybe didn't watch, there was an unfortunate situation where the crew went out for drinks after a charter, and I guess we'll give a trigger warning here for sexual. I mean, we already said sexual assault, but trigger warning for sexual assault if this like, you know, hits home for you and you don't want to listen to this conversation. Margot got blackout drunk at the table. She pretty much was sitting there saying she was blacking out. So she, you know, she was very drunk. They went back to the boat. He was all over her the whole time at dinner. They go back to the boat. She immediately gets into bed. Aisha, the chief stew, follows her into the room and is like, I saw the way that Luke is looking at you. Like, I just want to make sure you're good. And she's like, no, I just want to go to bed. I don't want Luke in the room. Aisha puts her to bed. She goes to sleep. She leaves. The power cuts on the boat because of something that happens on the dock. Luke then takes advantage of this situation and gets out of his bunk and goes into Margot's bunk and is fully naked. She's passed out, and he climbs up on the top bunk and gets on top of her fully naked. Production steps in and bangs on the door to get him out of the room. He tries to shut the door. He like goes behind her and is just like spooning her to make it seem like that's all he was doing. But we clearly saw he was on top of her fully naked before production stepped in. So who really knows what would have happened? But thankfully production stepped in, and then Aisha came and, you know, made sure Margot was safe. But it was a really horrible and grimy, disgusting scary situation. And we saw it all play. Like, I'm thankful that production broke the fourth wall there and like intervened, thankfully. While this was happening, Laura was also, I don't know if we're calling it sexual assault. I don't know. What's the
harassed,
Alex?
maybe?
Harassed. I think his name is Alex. There was a lot happening this night.
Yes. A very sexually charged night, but unfortunately,
like predatorily so.
It wasn't like there was no mutual charges. It was very one-sided in two different instances. So, she basically kept like hitting on him and making advances at him, and he very politely but directly told her no
multiple times,
many times. And it got to the point where she climbed up in his top bunk, struggled to climb up there, and like was like putting lotion on his back, and he just kind of was like laying there just like kind of hoping it would stop, and production had to come in and get her to stop as well. So we had two different instances in one night where production was like, we can't have this happen, which
there was a lot of non-consensual situations happening all at once that production had to stop.
And I don't know if this is like, I don't want to say a bad thought, but there was definitely a point where I was like, does production step in if this happens like 10 years ago on the same show? If this is like season 1 of the OG Below Deck, like,
yeah, probably not.
And so I did have a moment of reflection of like appreciation that we're not going to let this happen. Especially like if you've followed Aisha through all of her seasons. In one of them, she told us about how she was R-worded and a night that she like got way more into it in a prior season than she did. She mentioned it, but not to the point that she did in like a prior season. So knowing that like you have someone on this boat who not only was like looking out for Margot, but also has like experienced this themselves, and for production, I just was very appreciative, because I did have the thought of like, it's currently 2023. If it was 2013, that door might have just stayed closed.
Right. Or like maybe there wouldn't have been someone outside of the door and they wouldn't have caught it. Or I knew something happened in this episode. I was a little bit behind. So I had seen a lot of the discourse on social media, but I didn't know the extent. I like purposely didn't figure out what happened. I knew that it had to do with sexual assault, so I assumed immediately that it had to do with Luke, because who else?
Because of how he was presented, and not how he was presented, because I don't want to make it seem like production and editing made Luke seem this way. It's just
this was
the
Luke,
thing
like
that he said and what we saw of him.
Yeah, I was surprised by the Laura part of it, and there's a lot. I have a lot to say about this bitch Laura, but I still was caught off guard when I was watching it. I don't think I was like prepared for it, and maybe it's like it just hits different as a woman watching it, because like it very easily could be you, or it has been a lot of us in situations like that before, where like that just hits home. And I'm just so thankful that production stepped in, that Aisha stepped in. Aisha immediately went to Captain Jason. She was obviously very upset by the situation, and she was crying. She woke him up in the middle of the night, and I just loved that the first question that Captain Jason asked was like, is she safe now? And like he went into action immediately. There was I don't know that another captain would have handled the situation this way. I don't think Sandy would have handled the situation this way. I don't know that Captain Lee would have handled the situation this way. Personally. And I love Captain Lee, so I just don't know how it would have gone. So I'm just thankful that we got to see them swoop into action. I also don't know that any other chief stew would have handled it this way personally.
Well, we saw in the past where, I can't remember the exacts, but I remember Kate kind of like answering the questions at a reunion of like, why didn't you step in? And so I mean, I've always been a big Aisha fan. There's some things that it's like, though sometimes with like the oh my god, or like the way I'm like all right,
she's
it's a lot,
but I do like
her morals, her standards, her work ethic, the way she gets along with people, like I absolutely love her. She's one of my favorite people that's come across Below Deck. But even more so, I love that Captain Jason and her, their dynamic, but he didn't even question, like he believes her. She comes in and says this, and it's not like, okay, relax, stop, like calm, it's just like, I 100% believe everything you're saying. He trusts her entirely. I mean, we see that. You don't just have some random person put your contacts in for you, which is kind of wild.
Right.
Like, I love their dynamic so much, but especially getting to see, obviously they know they're on television, but it didn't feel like that. The way that was handled would have been done differently if they weren't on television. And their dynamic, and it's just, I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, me too. And I'm just thankful that, like, I don't know, we got to see Aisha in a position of power. We got to see a man, Jason, in a position of power, handle it in such a mature and appropriate way. And I mean, there were no warnings. It was like, get off the boat now. You're going to a hotel. We'll address it tomorrow. But like, it's not even like, go to sleep. Oh, he's asleep and the door's locked. Fine, we'll address it tomorrow. No, he was immediately removed from the boat to make sure everybody was safe. Like, it was just, everything was handled appropriately. And I just don't feel like it's often that happens in life, on TV. I just feel like shout out to them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I saw a lot of stuff on Twitter before I even saw the episode of like, Below Deck Down Under being applauded for how they handled the situation. And so yeah, it definitely like caught some positive press as well. And it's unfortunate that even needs to happen, but I respect like everything that Aisha and Jason did in that. I would run through a wall for either of those two at this point.
Me too. I would have run through a wall for Jason before that. I'm just kidding.
Especially now that he got his teeth done.
I wanted him to keep his crooked teeth. We need some crooked teeth representation in this world. So I haven't looked at the new teeth fixed. Yeah, they're on his Instagram, and he was on Watch What Happens Live, and they were noticeably straighter. And then I looked at his Instagram, and I guess, I don't know if it was like a sponsored thing or whatever. Shout out to people with crooked teeth. I have crooked bottom teeth. Shout out to people with crooked teeth. We need more representation in this world. Not everybody needs to have perfectly straight teeth, okay? Jason disappointed
Some
me.
of us went through braces to have our teeth.
I went through braces as well, and I did not wear my retainer, so it was all for naught because I was a dumbass. So here I am. Wear your retainer, kids, if you're listening to this and you have braces. It makes a huge fucking difference. Don't be like me. So later in the episode, Luke gets removed from the boat. Everybody wakes up. He's gone. They're all questioning where he is. Aisha, and please forgive me, I do not know how to pronounce the chef's name.
Let's call her Sheffy. A lot of them call her Sheffy.
Yes. Okay. Sheffy. And Margot have a conversation. They immediately don't include Laura, which I'm, even Aisha was like, can we just like have a second? I guess like Laura clearly didn't pass the vibe check from the beginning, but like she was kind of like itching around looking for answers to see what happens. They're talking in the boat, and I just in their bunks, and I just thought even that conversation and what the Sheffy was saying about like, you should be able to be blackout drunk and stand naked in the middle of the street and like nothing should happen to you. Like this is not your fault. And I just thought like, women supporting women, we need more of that here. Right. We didn't get that shit from Laura though.
No, this bitch, she sucks.
Let me see this bitch on the street one time. Let me.
Yeah, no, she's awful.
I
just don't understand how you go up to the person who was sexually assaulted by the man who is removed from the boat and tell this woman how sad you are that you didn't get to say goodbye, and that everyone's feeling bad, but he must be feeling worse. He must
be feeling the worst. Unfucking believable. So Captain Jason brings everybody into the crew mess, not the crew mess, but the whatever room they're in. And they have a meeting. He tells everybody that Luke is removed. He's coming back to the boat. He's getting his things. He's fired. He will no longer be here. And he talks about boundaries, and he's like, when this door is closed, that's your boundary. No one is to open that without permission and consent. Great conversation from Jason. And Laura not only is all over Alex again as this is happening, and you could see Aisha kind of like clock it on the couches. And sorry to this man if his name is not Alex. I think it is, but I really don't know. So I'm just assuming his name is Alex. And Laura goes, can I say goodbye? Or can we say goodbye? And Captain Jason's like, no. It's like, read the room, bitch. What is wrong with you? What the fuck is actually wrong with you and your brain? What is wrong with you?
I think it's Adam, not Alex.
Oh, my bad. Sorry, Adam. I was close.
He's from Brooklyn.
He is from Brooklyn. Sorry, Adam. Oh, my God. I just called him Alex again. Sorry. Anywho, Adam. So, Luke gets kicked off the boat. He doesn't seem to remember what happened. Do you believe that he doesn't remember?
I believe, I'm not like 100% yes that he doesn't remember. But I would think that there's an area for him to lie. So I'm probably like 65-35 on believing him and not believing him.
I believe that he'd remember, because I felt like when you saw him come down the hallway to Margot's room, his eyes were like glazed over. Like I didn't feel like he was present in that moment. And that's not an excuse. That almost makes it worse and scarier to know that he was like either not in control of himself or just like literally you are a predator down to your core, because if you're blacked out, this is what you're doing, and you don't even have awareness that this is what you're doing. It's like that makes it even more, it's all disgusting and scary. I don't know if it's more disgusting that he was doing that like in his blacked out state, or if he would have done it consciously or whatever. It's all bad. All of it is bad. But he was just kind of like, was I naked? Like I did that. He just seemed to not know what was going on. He was removed from the boat. See ya. You should have been dumped in the fucking ocean, get eaten alive by the sharks. Like, you don't deserve to be on this planet. You're a fucking piece of shit. Hopefully he can use this as a learning experience, but I fucking doubt it. He's a monster. Speaking of monsters, Laura continues. Margot's cleaning the brass table, and this is exactly what she says. What you said is that everybody feels bad, but like poor Luke, I feel so bad for him. He must be feeling the worst right now.
He should have come to my room. I would have been like, oh, hell yeah.
Welcomed it. Yeah. If I kept him, he should have let me keep him happy. This is his karma for not being with me. I would have kept him like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
I just like, I was sitting there and I almost felt like, are you being paid more by Bravo to say these things to create drama? Because I don't understand how, as a human, as a woman, how you could be saying these things to a woman who was just sexually assaulted in the way that she was, even if it was by your friend. Like, how are you saying these things out loud unless, like, are you being paid extra money for it? What is your motive here? There has to be. I almost don't want to believe that it's real, but I 100% believe it's real, because I just think that she is the fucking worst. Like, and then you pair it with her actions towards Alex,
not Alex.
That, like, no, this woman is just awful. She is just not a good person.
Yeah. It gets worse. She pays Margot a visit in the laundry room, or Margot goes in the laundry room and she's doing laundry. I don't remember who's where, but she says things like, I'm really upset. He should have gotten a warning. He doesn't deserve to be fired. It's not like he would have R-worded you, literally says
oh my God.
that
the
to
word,
her.
and they don't like blank it out or anything.
No, they don't.
On the show. So as I mentioned before, if I can't be doing something else while I'm watching a TV show, I'm just not watching a TV show. So let's just assume I was sitting here like writing a postcard, and I was like, "What the?" And I actually
had my full attention the entire time. I was shook by this entire episode.
I had to rewind it to be like, "Let me make sure I take this in," and I gave it my full attention.
Yeah. It was really wild. She was like, it's not like you were saying no to him all night. You're a sexual person. He's a sexual person. Everybody was just having fun. It was truly unbelievable what we were watching on this show. It made me sick to my stomach. This woman is an actual monster from hell. She's a fucking demon. I can't believe that she's a person that exists on this planet. But while this is happening, we do see Aisha approach Adam. Adam. And she's like, I noticed that you're, she's being really pushy with you and like aggressive, and you have said like you're not into it. And he was like, I've said no, she's not really taking it. I don't want to get anyone in trouble, but I think it's on me. I need to be more firm. I mean, I don't feel like he could have been any more clear that he was not consenting to anything that was going on. I feel for him as well as Margot, because like this is a lot. That was a lot that he was having to deal with.
I feel like it's very easy, especially for like people like us who are like very strong for women and like, don't get it wrong. We're out on Laura. Like I know
we're
like
so
a common thing when like this type of conversation comes up is like, oh, well, like it happens to men too. Like, yeah, we fucking agree. And Adam should not have had to put up with anything that he dealt with. And he handled it very well. If anything, I wish that like he got to go to Aisha earlier so he didn't have to deal with nearly as much as he did. And no person deserves to have unwanted advances happening to them. It should be consensual. If someone is not fuck yeah about you, then just go, just like leave, just stop, just
go.
We saw a lot of that within like 2 hours of the show.
Honestly, even at the dinner before the Luke and Margot situation happened, I was uncomfortable watching Adam and Laura because I was like, oh, and I knew going into it there was something, and I was like, is it them? And like, it wasn't not them. It was just that something worse happened that like overshadowed what she was doing, because the magnitude of what happened with Margot and Luke, I think, was significantly worse on a scale, but that doesn't mean what happened to him wasn't also horrible.
Yeah. It was a lot. It was a lot. But again, like something that I loved in terms of seeing how it was handled was Jason, before calling in Laura, calls in Margot and is like, how are you? Are you okay? Please know that like you've done nothing wrong. We support you. You like, and I feel like a Sandy would have called in the one she's angry with first. Probably the same with like Captain Lee, and the fact that like he thinks to go like, let me make sure that this person who is going to remain here and that has gone through so much already, like knows that me, like her utmost superior, is looking out for her and cares. It was just like, it's those little things that again, I just like have so much respect for how things. Unfortunately, they had to deal with a whole bunch of things that you never want anyone to have to deal with. But the way that it was done with Aisha and especially Captain Jason, just like, well done. You deserve all of like the positive recognition you're getting for such an awful situation.
Totally. Margot tells Aisha what happened and what Laura said to her. Adam tells, Aisha that he is uncomfortable and maybe he just needs to be more firm. But she takes it upon herself to go to Captain Jason and is like, you need to have a conversation with Laura because like this shit is crazy. And like you said, he brings in Margot, he brings in Adam
as well.
And then he fires Laura on the spot. And when I tell you, I cheered at my TV because I did not. I don't know if it's that I'm tainted from below deck seasons of the past where these roach people just live on forever. Like the brew crew specifically, the fucking group of monsters that they were got to live on the entire season, and they're still out there causing havoc to women across the world, I'm sure. The fact that like Jason was just like, yeah, no, you're out of here. Like, this is not the culture that I'm fostering here on this boat. Like, you are not treating people with respect. You're pretty much sexually harassing Adam. Like, you're out. And she's like, well, I just want a warning. And he's like, nope. See ya, bitch. Yeah. You're out of here.
You're not good for our team.
Also, should have gone in the ocean. They should have driven that van. That should have been a self-driving van because we don't know who was in that van with her. Sorry to whoever that had to be to sit in that van with her. It should have been a self-driving van, and it should have driven straight to the bottom of the fucking sea.
And I loved that there wasn't a second where Jason was like, we're about to be 2 people down. Oh no. Yeah. Do I do this?
He didn't even question it.
Yeah. No, never came up. It was just like, you get the fuck out. You get the fuck out. We'll deal with it. We will. Yeah. We'll figure it out, but we're not having this happen.
This is a Captain Jason Stan podcast. From here on out.
Absolutely. I liked him last season. And like when I saw that it was only him and Aisha coming back for season 2, I was so excited that like, first of all, just getting Aisha back in itself, but like I figured Captain Jason would come back. Just this duo. I love this duo so much. Both of them.
The rumor is that Captain Jason is taking over for Captain Lee because Captain Lee is
I heard that it was Captain Carey from Adventures.
I thought it was Jason.
I thought I had seen
you
Carey.
Might be right. Oh, I don't even know that man. I didn't watch that.
I watched some of it. I actually liked him. He's no Captain Jason, but is anyone? And
no one is.
But no, he honestly, he just got stuck with like a boring cast. Like you had a chief stew and a bosun. Neither were good at their jobs and neither liked each other. So it's just like a lot of petty, unnecessary drama between the two, like, and that just kind of permeated through the boat. But he wasn't bad. Yeah, I had heard it was Carrie, but I could be wrong. You definitely are.
Quick. No, you might be right because I've been out of the below deck streets for a little bit, as you know. So
out of the below deck galleys for a little bit.
Yes,
out of the docks, if you will.
I'm looking at. It is Captain Carey. God damn it! I thought it was Captain Jason. Ugh.
I'm okay with it though because like I don't think Aisha will go. Like I think Aisha like is okay doing Down Under because they stay closer to her home, and so if that means like we'll get to continue with them for a couple more seasons, like I'll take it.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
I just want more Captain Jason on TV.
I mean, yeah,
but I'll give Captain Carey a chance, I guess. At least it's not Captain Sandy.
Very true.
I shudder to think about how Captain Sandy would have handled this situation.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, I truly can't imagine it. She would have taken Luke's side, I'm assuming, just given her track record of only being on the side of the deck crew. Or she would have like had it. I saw somebody on Reddit say she would have like sat him down and had an inspirational talk with him about like his alcohol usage.
Right.
And I'm like, that's totally what she would have done.
Yeah.
But she would have been like, this is a learning experience. She would not have swooped into action the way that maybe she would have surprised me, but I doubt it.
Yeah. No, I don't have much faith. I think that
no, I don't either.
You had the right people in the right place for dealing with this.
Yes.
And I think that was shown by Margot's response where she's like, as awful as this has been, like, I've never felt more loved and cared for.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I can't imagine having gone through that and like the most permeating feeling that I'm having is like love and appreciation for the people around me. Like, because I would be so angry and like full of rage. And so, I mean, I just think, again, like it showcases what great leadership she has and like the people around her, especially Sheffy and
yeah.
So yeah, the Sheffy and Aisha and Jason, just overall.
Totally. Shouts to them. I know we're not caught up on this, but Joao is back.
I'm so fucking pissed about this. I hate that man. I hate that man. I hate him. Joao. He's given Aisha a hard time. I had this conversation very recently because I've watched a lot of Love Island within the last few weeks. Mm-hmm. I watched like the whole UK season in like basically a week, and then I caught up on the US season, and someone else that in like my group chat was like, there's a South African season.
Oh.
And well, here's the thing. I've worked with one girl from South Africa, but quite a few men from South Africa. And all of them are like Joao.
Oh.
And so I said, I'm like, each man I've worked with has been like, from South Africa has been like the poster child for misogyny. And one of my other friends was like, well, I worked on, he's a man. He's like, I worked on like cruise ships with a couple of people from South Africa. They were great. I'm like, maybe because you were a man. But probably. I just, like Joao is from South Africa, and it's just like the caricature of what I think of like a South African man. And he treated Aisha poorly. He's treated so many people poorly. He's like so caught up in his head, and I don't like him.
Is Ashton also from the Brew Crew? Who he's also South African, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Talk about a piece of garbage. That guy. Ooh. Yeah.
Wait, is Joao is Joao the one from like he's from Africa but not South Africa? He might be from a different country.
I don't know.
Joao.
I thought South Africa.
I think.
I'm not sure. I really don't. I'm not sure, but
he's from Zimbabwe. He's from Zimbabwe.
Oh, interesting.
I take it back, and I just fucking hate Joao.
I think Joao is just trash. And
I was thinking of Ashton in the South African man that I didn't like, and I was like, I can't watch a season of. But nonetheless, I've not been, because Sandy loved Joao.
Yeah, Ashton was from the Captain Lee world. Joao was from the Captain Sandy Below Deck Med world. He has experience with Aisha in the past. He treated her like total shit on an earlier season of Below Deck Med. And when I tell you, I saw him in that mid-season trailer and I jumped and I was like, Joao! I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked. I mean, it'll make for good TV. It'll make for a hate watch, that's for sure.
I don't need him. I was sad when I saw that.
He's a total asshole.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, he's back. He's on already this week. Like I said, I saw like 10 minutes of the episode and he was there. So already pissed me off in like the first 10 minutes that I saw him. So it's going to be downhill for this guy. It also seems like everybody in the trailer hates him in the mid-season trailer, but those could be misleading. So who knows?
I just can't imagine Jason liking him. He does not strike me as the type of person that Jason wants to work with. Last season's bosun was like, Joao's going to be better at his job than last season's bosun, but they have the same like hard-headedness to them that like you could tell that Jason like wasn't going to fire the bosun, but he was fed up with him with like a few charters left, that I feel like he's going to have the same type of approach towards Joao. And especially with like everything that's happened and the people that are there currently, everyone seems to be like nice and caring. And I mean, like you have Adam who's like all caught up in safety and stuff and maybe a bit unnecessarily like a bit too big for his britches, especially like how do you work on boats and can't swim? I feel like you must have to pass a swim test or something. Like that's
or like get seasick. It's wild. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole thing that I just don't understand. Even like working at a summer camp, you had to, if you wanted to be in the deep end of the pool, you had to take a swim test in order to do it. So the fact that like if he actually paid off somebody to like say that, wild. So, okay, with all that, just the people who are working on this boat right now, Joelle does not fit the mold. Like the overlap of the Venn diagram, there's really not much of an overlap.
There's none. It's like a sliver, if even, just because he's like human. That's all they have in common. And he's worked on boats. Like, that's it. Yeah. That's what they have in common. Valencia asks a great question in the chat. How many below decks are there? Well, Valencia, let us tell you. It started off with the OG below deck. Mm-hmm. Plain old below deck. That was Captain Lee. That's where Kate Chastain originated from. In season 2, she started. Season 1 is still worth watching, though, if you do want to catch up. Adrian, the chief stew, that season is a mess, but we do get introduced to Ben, the chef, that season. And Eddie, I think, is in season 1.
Yes, he is.
And a few reoccurring characters. It's a good one. Then we had Below Deck Mediterranean as the first spinoff with Captain Sandy, who...
Except in season 1.
Yes, remember? We did not have Captain Sandy in season 1. We had a different captain.
But we did. Imagine if that captain was in charge of what happened in this.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't watched season 1 in a while, but he was a mess. I do recall.
His bosun or like lead deckhand or whatever was like the death. He would get drunk and just be a jackass to women. And this guy believed everything his bosun said. Right. And he would like kind of like go and tattle to the captain, and the captain, like, it was wild. Yeah. But he was only on for 1 season.
Yeah. I think the next in the spinoff is in the spinoff list is Below Deck Sailing with Captain Glenn, which I'm not a Below Deck Sailing girly, but I'm hoping to be one soon because I'm going to catch up.
There's only 4 seasons of that, and seasons 2 through 4 have like the same core group of people together, so you get some reoccurring. Not reoccurring, but like some developing storylines. But season 1 of that is like wild because it's presented to you.
Part of it because I hated Adam and Jenna, so I was like fully out on it.
I don't even remember who is that. The couple?
Yeah, the chef from Below Deck Med. And
no! I'm talking about a different couple. But yes, so I actually saw the chef on Sailing before I saw him on
Mediterranean. I think he was on Mediterranean.
Yeah, it was. Because Sandy was like oddly obsessed with him. It like hated him and loved him. But yeah, that's true. So no, there was like a couple that had lived on the boat with Glenn for a while.
That's right. Yeah.
And so it definitely has like some weird dynamics to it. But yeah, almost. I don't think anybody came back from season 1 to 2, but I could be wrong.
Aside from Glenn. And then I don't know what came next, if it was Below Deck Down Under or Below Deck Adventure.
I think it was Down Under and then Adventure.
Yeah. Below Deck Adventure is in what, like the Nordics or something? Is that even a place?
Like the Norway.
And it's like extreme boat, not extreme boating, but like it's like their outings.
They go like zip lining
jumping and zip lining. Yeah. And it has
Heather
a
Gay
song
was
that
on that.
killed me. Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
But she tipped really well.
Oh, good. I'm sure Bravo tipped for her. And Below Deck Down Under with Jason and Aisha. So there's 5 Below Decks total.
OG, Med, Sailing, Down Under, and Adventure. I don't know if Adventure is going to get a second season. I think it might just be done because he's going to OG, which would be fine.
Yeah, I'm truly devastated that it's not Captain Jason. I really thought it was Captain Jason. I'm honestly devastated. But what are you gonna do? So that's where we're at with Below Deck. I'm up to date. I'm back in. I'm all in on Below Deck. Sailing is gonna be my next endeavor. I'm gonna jump in as soon as I have some free time once Big Brother calms down a little bit. Soon, hopefully. Sort of, but not really hopefully because it's been fun. So that's it, I think. Any other Bravo news? Anything?
It's hard for me to know what's Bravo and what's not because I like watch everything through Peacock because as I told you, I caught up on Love Island.
Peacock, yeah.
Yeah. And that is wild. Like if I were to do, I've never watched a US season and stuck with it. And if you are a Love Island fan, here is my like 1 to 2 minute plug for this season. It probably won't even be that long. It starts off at like breakneck speeds, and especially like the women are like just trying to do too much. Like they're mad on day 2 that their guy is not interested in being closed off with them. Like that they're not. Yeah. It's like crazy how fast they're moving.
Okay.
But then like things settle down, and like I think the women kind of like get themselves under control, which is nice. And some relationships build. Some people who I like didn't like at the beginning at all become a lot more likable. And there's this one guy who's named Bergie who like he's maybe kissed like 5 people total in his life prior. He's like this like awkward white dude from like South Dakota. So he's kind of like everyone's favorite in a way, because it's like he's not a virgin, but he might as well be a virgin for Love Island. Like, so you kind of like have his whole thing, like his coming of age story. You have like these relationships developing and then undeveloping, and some like breakups and then getting back together. And then there's something that happens. It's called Casa Amor. And what happens is like the men will go to one house, the women will stay or go to one house, and they bring in like a whole new set of men and women. And I have a whole theory on Casa Amor, but this Casa Amor, it might not have been like the best Casa Amor I've seen, but it's probably in like the top 3-ish. However, the Casa Amor recoupling might be the best Casa Amor recoupling I've ever seen, and I've watched all the UK seasons. It was spicy. There was the C word was used. There was people like it had everything. You had people coming back to like reunite with their couples. You had people coming back single. You had like people recoupling. It was wild. It was so good. Like even if you fall off after the Casa Amor, like it is worth the first 20 something episodes, because I am amazed by like this Casa Amor recoupling span. It was top notch. Love Island, absolutely brilliant.
I unfortunately do not have the mental bandwidth for Love Island. If it was like a once a week, I would check it out, but it's too much for me, especially during Big Brother season.
It's such a good show to like if you're like sick one weekend, or you just like I can't go out, like I need to stay in or something. Like it just started on Friday and like just watch continuously through. It's very good for that. I don't like, now that I've caught up, that I have to wait like until the next day to get it. I would rather just watch like 8 episodes in a row.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
So yes, but this Love Island USA is the first one that I usually will watch like the first few episodes. I'm like, I'm not interested, and then I stop. This one, I stuck it through, and I'm so glad I did.
Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad you're enjoying it. One day I will be somewhat versed in Love Island. Unfortunately, it's not the day for me.
It's all right. It's okay.
Yeah, we'll get there.
I got into it because of my camp friends, because like they're like, no, you have to watch this, and
I'm sure I would love it. I'm mentally preparing myself for the Golden Bachelor, so
I can't wait for that.
Neither can I.
I'm excited for that. That's for sure. Yeah, I'm like very busy, but because my like main source of busyness has been these postcards, and I'm now in a role where I'm not in meetings like I was in my job, that I can just kind of like have things going all day. So I'm consuming a lot of television, and it's just like kind of wild. But yeah, because like I've watched Temptation Island now. I've watched Big D.
Yeah. We got to get you in the Big Brother live feeds. That's like the perfect background.
I don't want it. I honestly,
it's so good this season so far.
But the fans are fucking crazy.
You don't have to engage with them.
But it's on my Twitter. You know what I mean?
I get it.
It's kind of like it would just be too much, I think. Like I almost like having the outside perspective of like looking in, for example, like to give some insight of the situation that happened with Luke and him saying the N-word, like I kind of got that conversation going in our silent podcast Slack, because I was like, all right, I don't watch this show. Is this dude gonna get kicked off? Because the way he said it makes it seem like this will not be the last time this dude says this word. It just seems like he kind of casually drops it.
Yeah, I would say so.
Like I like being at that arm's length away, where like I have an idea of what's going on, but I don't want to be fully in.
That's fair. This is the season. I would, at least the early season feeds have been truly something to behold. So I say and non-toxic, like that situation, toxic, but it was handled. I think the rest, it's like not toxic. It's not bullying. It's unhinged in the best way. It's like these people are cracked. Suri is on the show. It's like, when are you going to ever get to see Suri on live feeds? That's my plug. But you know, that's it.
Yeah, I just get to read about it on Twitter. And like, I'll occasionally watch a clip. I forget what I watched, something with Suri in it. But yeah, I think like there's been so many years of watching Big Brother fans be Big Brother fans that I just like, that is the most repulsive part of it for me, to be honest.
It's understandable.
And I think
I get it.
Part of it is I was actually thinking about this because it's like, I was reflecting on how much reality TV I've been watching over the last few months, over like a span of different channels and types and all these things. Like, I was saying to Katie, I think it was before the podcast, like I watched like 3 seasons of Survivor 2 weekends ago.
Yes.
So like I'm catching up on things I missed. I'm watching a whole bunch of shit, and I've had the conversation with myself like, okay, why will I not watch Big Brother? And I think part of it is the fact that like the episodes are so different than the live feeds as well. So it's like, even if you miss something, like if I go back and watch last season, for example, knowing everything that Taylor Hale went through, the episodes don't capture that. And so I just have this like mental obstacle of getting over that as well. It's like, if I'm not in it in the second that it's happening, the show is like,
that I understand. Yeah.
Not valid. So that's the other thing that I've really kind of has like prevented me from being like, all right, now's the time. Because I'm also kind of like a completionist, as we've maybe realized, in the fact that like I went and watched every single fucking episode of Real Housewives that has ever existed. That I just like I would want to have watched everything. And
yeah, I get that.
I know I can't. I
get it. I totally get it. Well, the clips are out there and they're worth it. At least Miss Felicia, you got to follow along with her antics and how she's a queen, an icon.
Yeah, I've heard she's like lost or broken like 5 or 6 mics at this point.
I think 5. I think her last one is okay, since she now has it wrapped in plastic. I don't think she's broken another one since then, but
girl.
Well, we've done our typical veer off into non-topical Bravo discussion, so that I guess means it's time for us to wrap. Any other thoughts? Anything else you want to share?
I don't think so. I know that you aren't caught up on Stars on Mars. I didn't watch last night's episode, and I'll have to watch that, but otherwise I'm caught up.
Yeah, Stars on Mars and Claim to Fame, I'm dodging spoilers. Not so much Stars on Mars, like no one's talking about it, but
Claim to Fame is hard.
I'm dodging. They're out there on the Twitter streets, so I'm unspoiled so far. So I need to go back and watch the last few. I think I've missed like 2 or 3 episodes now, so I'm playing with fire here.
Yeah, I opened it. I opened Twitter last night, and I just like kind of lost track of what time it was. Because I was planning on watching it live, and then I like saw someone using like the Claim to Fame hashtag, and it's like, oh shit, now I've got to wait until tomorrow. So it was the first thing I did today.
Totally.
But yeah, that show doesn't miss. It truly, like, each episode is good.
Yes.
There hasn't been a bad episode of Claim to Fame yet.
No, it's true. I mean, I haven't seen the last 3, but I believe it to be true. All right. Well, Carrie, where can the people find you?
You can find me tweeting about all the reality TV I'm watching. At KGD26, just on Twitter. I'm not going to call it the other name. I haven't really used Threads in a bit. I don't know. So yeah, I'm on there, or you can follow me on Instagram. I was trying to engage people in talking to me about Survivor, and like no one really bit, and that was really it was like the same. It was the
Survivor
same day
fans,
as
no shade, love to talk about Survivor, so I'm shocked.
Yeah, I was like using the hashtag and everything. I was like, bro, I've got a hot take and I want people to argue with me. But it was the same day as the cast reveal for Big Brother, which like,
oh yeah,
another side. Yeah, I don't understand why people like love that so much, because it's like 18. I mean, like if you had found out Suri was coming in that day, cool. Like I get being excited about that, but it's just like 18 random fucking people from across the country.
Cast reveal day.
And it's like, what? I don't know. It seems like a day where like people are just out to ruin these 18 people's lives. So like what can we find? Like I saw people getting mad about tweets from, is it Mimi? Is that how you say her name?
Yeah, Mimi. Yeah,
where
she
it's
had
like
some wild tweets, but some of them were funny.
They're wild, but also like people were like calling her out for using the N-word, and I'm like, isn't she black? Like she's allowed to.
Psychopaths out there.
Yeah, and I was like, this is why these tweets are from 12 years ago, first and foremost. That's a whole middle schooler ago.
Yeah, totally.
Second, like what you're calling her out for, who are you to be telling anyway? So I don't know. But yeah, KGD26. I've been trying to talk about the World Championship for the challenge because I'm watching that right now, and I can't, like, the hashtag's too long, so I refuse to use it, and that's where I'm at.
Yeah, these shows gotta get good hashtags. Let's not get another rugged situation here.
The Challenge World Championship. That's like that's 30 characters.
Your characters of your tweet, like a tweet allotment. All right, well, check out Carrie there. Carrie will be joining us at some point on TJ Hates Quitters. Even though she's not going to be a full timer with us, she ditched us for postcards. She will be on
and a doctorate
and a doctorate and like a job, you know, but specifically the postcards.
They're almost done.
Well, for me, you could check me out also on Twitter at RealSlimKatie. You could follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/RealSlimKatie with an _. I've been a little absent there just because Big Brother, podcasts, work, life. It's been a lot going on the last few days and weeks, but I'll be back there soon enough to just play some games and hang out with everybody. So keep an eye out there. You can also find me all over the place on Silent Podcasts once again these days. We'll be here every week talking about all things Bravo. You can find me on the Bounced Checks podcast talking about Big Brother with Josie and Isaiah again this season, which has been great so far. We will be doing exit interviews. We'll be doing feed updates once or twice a week. We are also doing recaps on Fridays. So there's like a ton of Big Brother content coming at you from us. It's like a lot happening. Also, TJ Hates Quitters. Josie is hosting and I am her co-host. So we're talking all things Challenge USA. And I think that's it. But that's enough. That's a lot. That's like a podcast every damn day. So
that's a ton.
It's a lot. So, you know, we're in full swing here on Silent Podcast. Sorry if you're sick of me. Speaking of Silent Podcasts, you can follow us all over the place on the internet. You can follow us on Twitter at silent_podcasts and Instagram. Not too much going on the Instagram these days, but we're gonna soup that. Is it souping it up? I don't know. When you do that with a car, you soup it up. We're going to soup that up
pimp my ride
soon. Yeah, we're going to pimp that ride soon. You can follow us on Twitch. It's on podcast and a TikTok. Same thing on the TikTok, but we're going to pimp up the TikTok ride soon too. Listen to us on all audio platforms. We are available wherever you listen to your podcasts. Leave us a rating and a review. 5 stars is appreciated. You only get to rate us and review us one time, so it would be great if you gave us a 5 stars. It really helps us out in the algorithm. You can like and subscribe to us on YouTube at Silent Podcasts. You can follow along with us live as we do most of our podcasts. We do most of them live, not all of them, but most of them. All the Big Brother stuff is live. We are always live TJ Hates Quitters is live. We have a lot of other content going on Silent Podcast right now. Gia's doing Claim to Fame. Gia, Naomi, and Nicole are also talking all things Project Runway. So there's a lot happening on the Silent Podcast feed these days. So check us out there. Other than that, thank you for being here with us. We will be back next week. That's it. Talk to you all soon. Right? Am I missing anything? I don't think so.
I think you're good.
All right. I think I'm good. All right. Bye, everybody. Till next time.
Bye.
Bye.